Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are. We are starting our live stream at the moment and we're ready to roll. Today we're going to talk about business immigration in Canada. A very simple way of overview, differences, the main advantages, disadvantages. So this is going to be let's say a crash course in what you can expect with Canadian business immigration. So the first point, a lot of people know that obviously we have 10 provinces and 3 territories. 99% of every province, except 1 or 2, have business immigration programs on a provincial level. Then you also have federal programs, which are best interest categories for Canada, which are mandated and managed by the federal government. The way it would work here at this point is that the Quebec Investor Program is probably the one that most people have heard of. It's probably the highest value in terms of the investment amount. That program is going to be closed during 2022. The government will review their situation again in Quebec and look at it for 2023. So that is gone right there. So out of 10 provinces and 3 territories, 1 program is gone for 2022 already. Then you have all programs will lead to a work permit that will eventually lead to a permanent residency. There's only 3 programs as of today, December 21st, in terms of direct permanent residency. I'm going to outline those 3 programs. The first program is the startup visa, which will give you a PR plus work permit. The work permit is optional. PR means permanent residency. The startup visa program. We have another video. We talk about that. Just click on that and you can find out more details about it. It's pretty straightforward, but you do need an incubator, venture capital, and or angel investor to support your startup. If you have any questions or you want to see if you're eligible, reach out to us. The other 2 programs that will offer you direct permanent residency are the farming programs. So farming investment. If you're a farmer and you go through Saskatchewan or Manitoba, these are 2 provinces, maybe you haven't heard of them, they're not as common, they're in the prairies, central of Canada, and if you are selected, you will be able to receive a direct permanent residency on arrival and then do your investment. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, that's the intention of the program. If you're not a farmer, forget that. In Saskatchewan and Manitoba, the farming is big business. So if you don't know what you're doing, I highly suggest you don't even bother trying to get a direct PR through a farming program. Okay? So that means you've got 2 farming programs and 1 startup visa at this point, which are the only business immigration programs that will give you a permanent residency. So now you ask, hey Reza, what are all the other programs then? Well, they're usually provincial nominee program, entrepreneurial, which will give you a work permit with an option for a nomination for a permanent residence from the province after anywhere from 6 to 24 months, depending on the province. And then there's the federal programs, with like owner-operator, investor work permits. And these are just work permits. There will not be a nomination like a province. So let's look at the provincial entrepreneurial work permits. So there's always a minimum investment amount. Typically there's an expression of interest. So they will give you points based on your profile on how much you'll invest, your background, how many Canadians you're going to hire, which regions of that province you're going to invest in, which are a high priority for the province for economic development, and your business plan. So based on that profile, you put in all your data, they will give you points, allocate points, and the province will invite you for interviews or potentially submitting documents to be selected to invest. So you give them a business plan and they will give you the opportunity to apply for a work permit, to come to that location in that province, to implement the business. Okay, after a certain period of time, and this can range from 6 months to 24 months depending on your province, they will audit you and say, okay, hey, Maggie or Joe, whoever you are, you promised us to invest this much in this industry, set up this business, and hire, invest, and do these activities, which will bring economic benefit to our region. Did you do that? And if you did that, they will nominate you for a permanent residency. No matter how old you are or how many points you have on express entry, that doesn't matter. First, you need to be eligible to get into the system, to put in your profile, to be selected, interviewed, documentation, then work permit, then come to Canada with your family, implement the business. After 6 to 20 months or 24 months, depending on the province, they will audit you and be like, okay, you're serious, you've done what you promised. The nomination certificate will allow you to apply for a permanent residency for you and your family members. Your family members being your spouse, partner, dependent children under the age of 22. And again, everyone, this is the information valid as of December 21st, 2021. So if the age of the dependents has changed by the time you're watching this video, be careful. Reach out to us and verify the updated information. Okay? So now you're going to ask, okay, Reza, well, which province is easier? Which province has the lowest investment amount? Which province has the shortest amount of time before I can get a nomination? Well, I have that information for you. The shortest one is Manitoba, 6 months. Okay, I'm going to give you the disadvantages later. Then the next easiest one is Prince Edward Island. Small little island. My father-in-law actually immigrated to that province. I visited it. Nice, cute, everybody's super nice. That takes 12 months, okay, for nomination. Then I would select Nova Scotia as the next, let's say, easiest one. And then the most difficult ones will be Ontario and BC. Very strict, higher investment amounts, very competitive. Not that it's impossible. You just need to have the right people working for you to get that business plan going, get all those documentation, and exactly know how the provinces of officers are thinking, right? So this is a fun fact. The most amount of refused expression of interest, which means that you intend to invest in BC, let's say Vancouver, anywhere else, and you put in your business plan, your expression of interest, your profile, and you've been selected for an interview. And the most amount of refusals are in that interview in BC. Why? Because the people who applied have no clue about the business plan. They have no clue about the market research. What that means is they were not prepared and coached before the interview. And that's why it's important you know what you're doing, and the people you select to help you know what they're doing, and they prepare and coach you. Ontario is difficult. It's just a matter of investment amount. Alberta has no business immigration stream except for farming, which is closed half the time. So that means you basically have BC, which is difficult, but it's possible. We've had a lot of clients going there. You have Saskatchewan, which is also a very good program. Not everybody wants to go to Saskatchewan, but if you have family, it's also a very easy and good program. Besides the farming, it's a work permit based. And then you've got Manitoba, which is also a very good program. That's the shortest nomination period. However, if you buy or set up a business, good luck selling it. You will lose all your money if you plan to leave the province. That's a fact. If you invest $200,000, $250,000 there, and after a year and a half, you get your PR, or 2 years, because you get nominated after 6 months, then you apply for a PR. That could take about a year and a half by itself. Then you want to leave. Good luck selling that business. Good luck recovering that money. So if you plan to leave, I would definitely not recommend it. Then it is Ontario. Right now we're going to have an additional new program announced, which is one of our videos on our YouTube channel. We'll get most of the details later. It's outside of the Greater Toronto area, and it's investing or setting up a new business in the rural regions. However, you also have the regular program. which prioritizes IT businesses. And if you don't have an IT bit, that's fine. You just need to invest minimum 400,000 plus. But again, the region where you invest will dictate the eligibility criteria for your investment. Then you go into Quebec. Well, Quebec has the entrepreneurial program, the startup, but they're pretty useless. I've spoken with a lot of immigration lawyers in Quebec, and they don't even like those programs. The only program that was useful there was the Quebec Immigration Investor Program, which is closed now until 2023 or further notice from the government. They're battling COVID, and most governments are, so that's not their priority. Then you get into the Atlantic provinces. Nova Scotia, great program, right? Very, let's say, I know a lot of business owners there. I've visited their the Provincial Nominee Program office as well. Very genuine, very outgoing, very flexible, very nice people there. But it will take up to 18 months to be nominated. It says 12 months in the guide, but it can take up to 12 months. Then you've got New Brunswick, also a similar good program, very good, a little bit heavy on the point side, but also great program. Newfoundland is there, Newfoundland and Labrador. Personally, I've never handled any clients who want to go to Newfoundland and Labrador to invest in, but they've got their own program there too. Not that it's a bad place. I know a few people who live there. Lots of nature, big place, but maybe not everyone's cup of tea. All these programs that I just mentioned are work permits. After the nomination period, so in Ontario it's 20 months, I believe. BC is also 20 months, or Ontario is 24 months, BC is 20 months. Manitoba is 6 months. PEI, Prince Edward, is 12 months. Nova Scotia is 12 months, but it goes up to 18 months. That's the duration of time you have to be creating or implementing your business and running it. And in most cases, you have to be there for 75 or 80% of the time. So you can't just invest, hire some managers, and take off to your home country and be like, yeah, I'm busy. No, in most cases, they actually outline that you have to be there for 75 to 80% of the time. It's got to be active management. It cannot be passive. There's certain businesses that they accept. There's certain businesses that they don't. Okay, so in terms of the best programs to apply, I would say look at where you will have a support system. So don't go to the cheapest place to invest. Don't go to the ones that's the fastest, because it may not be the cheapest or the fastest by the time you're done, or by the time you want to recover your money in case you want to move out of that province. I highly recommend you go where you want to settle, because that's what's going to benefit you and your family, not moving around all the time, right? Obviously, if you don't have enough investment amount to invest in BC program and Ontario, yeah, you can look at the rural regions or other provinces, and then look at moving to another place later on, whenever you're a permanent resident. Another point to mention is that BC also has the rural entrepreneurial pilot program, which is probably one of the lowest investment amounts and lowest criteria. There are specific towns and regions in the rural region in BC that are allowed and participating in that program. If you don't have any contacts in that rural region, tough luck. It's going to be difficult to get a nomination from that region, that town, wherever it is in the rural parts of BC, to nominate you, to even apply for a work permit, to come and implement your business. So don't think just because it's the lowest investment value and has the lowest criteria, it's going to be easy. No, they really want to see how certain are they, those towns, that you're going to invest and stay there and settle with your family. Okay, so again, going back in a nutshell, everything is a work permit that will lead to a nomination, that will lead to your PR, except startup visa and 2 farming streams, right? Now let's talk about the federal programs, the owner-operator program, the best interest in Canada program. That is basically means best interest for Canadian economy. These programs can be based on your nationality. So let's say you're from Mexico, let's say you're from Australia, let's say from US. You can apply based on the federal trade agreements with those countries for an investor work permit to come in. You can also apply from other programs. If you're not from those nationalities, you can set up a business or buy a business or do a joint venture, right? And receive an investor work permit outside of the provincial programs, right? and that will allow you to come in anywhere in Canada, implement the business. However, there's no direct path to permanent residence. So what people do is they try to gain points through the express entry after they've invested here and ran their business to be selected for permanent residency. So that's the disadvantage with the federal program, is that there's no direct path like the nomination from the provinces for PR. However, the investment amounts can be a little bit lower or higher, and more flexibility because the criteria are not as outlined and clear as the provincial ones in terms of where you should invest or how many people you should hire or which regions. So you have that flexibility with the federal program, but converting it to a PR, because if you own more than 50% of that business that you set up, you cannot gain Canadian work experience for express entry. Okay. However, your spouse could work for your business. So if your spouse has the eligibility criteria for express entry, then perhaps she or he can be the applicant after you, the principal applicant, set up the business in Canada, right? So there has to be a reverse engineering of what will happen, how will you convert to PR before you even invest. If you just come in and invest and then later on try to think, how am I going to convert to PR? Well, tough luck. That's not the way to do it. You have to think ahead, calculate everything in backwards, and then figure out what to do, how to do it, how to convert. That's the disadvantage with the federal programs. They have the flexibility on investment amounts, areas to invest in, regions. So you're not basically limited like the provincial programs, which limit you to a specific region, province, investment amount, and other certain obligations. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, we're going to get into a question answer period. If you're wondering what we're doing right now, well, the point here is that we have a live question answer every Tuesday 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. North America Standard Eastern Time. The first several minutes of this video have been about a general outline about business immigration. If anybody tells you anything different about this business immigration, well, make sure you do your research. Don't be fooled. Don't be naive. Make sure you do your homework and you invest and you're ready to settle. So that's that. Now we're going to jump into the live question answer. If you're watching a recording of this, well, during our live session, a lot of our viewers will post their questions, whether it's related to the video or not, and we answer it. So thanks everyone for joining. So when I read out your name and your questions, please just press the like button so I know you're there. Okay, I know you're still awake. So Amira Shahata says, hello Sir Reza, how are you? Thank you for keeping up with all the informative videos. Stay safe, God bless. Thank you, Amira, appreciate it. That's positive feedback, and we're here for you, everyone. Kartik, hi Reza, good morning from Toronto, loving the first winter. Kartik, welcome to Canada. Kartik was one of our viewers who's been, watching our sessions and interacting with us for a while. Kartik, newsflash, winter doesn't start until December 23rd, I think. So this is fall. The ice and snow that you see in Toronto, that's the fall. Winter actually starts in January, and you're really gonna feel it in February. Make sure you get some good warm clothing. The myth, the legend about Canadian were correct, so nice people. Yeah, Kartik, most are nice. You get a few bad apples here and there, but that's everywhere in the world. There's no perfect place. John Legues. So again, folks, when I read out your name and your question, just make sure you press the like button on the video, just so I know that you're there, you're listening, and we can interact. Hello, Reza. I applied for a student permit and I got rejected based on the purpose of visit. I reapplied yesterday, but I used the same bank statement I used a month ago before. Do you think it will work? Well, John, I guess I don't know if you'll be accepted or refused because I don't know the nature of the application and supporting documents. If the bank statement date is a month old, it's still acceptable. Okay? But if it's like 3 months old, then it becomes questionable. Okay? Bedros, hi Reza, as a temporary resident living in the GCC, if I wanted to apply, put off my home, apply from my home country for a study permit, does it count as a misrepresentation to put my home country. Well, if you have the documents, Bedros, you could be like, hey, I'm a resident of both, but I'm a resident of my home country, like Armenia, right? So if you have the ID, if you have a residency, if you have a bank statement, if you have an address, if you've got employment, these are things that, or you're studying it, these are things that actually identify you as a resident. If you're living in Kuwait, for example, and you apply in Armenia, it's a different issue, right? So they could or could not. Each embassy is a little bit finicky. Technically, no, but I've seen people apply from other countries that they're not living in their home country, and sometimes it gets processed. But again, they could refuse to process it or refuse you outright. You've been refused several times, so I would say it's high risk. In question 7 of the application form for the study permit, which asks about my country of residence. Yeah, so you could put country of residence Armenia, but you do need to provide all that information. You're studying or working, your assets, your bank statement, your residence, your utility bills, all that stuff, right? So you gotta think about it before you apply like that. And on question 9, which asks about the country where I'm applying from. So yeah, I mean, your nationality and your residency are different, right? So sometimes you are in your home country and sometimes you are not in your home country. So potentially you could, but again, you really need to do your homework, and don't, obviously don't lie on any of the application forms. That will ruin your chances forever. 5.8 million views says, hello Ingwe, I applied for a study permit, winter 22 on November 25th. 2020 now it's a month, and I'm wondering if I defer my application because I haven't gotten any feedback. Well, you did apply a bit late, 5.8 million views, so there's not a huge chance that you will be a decision will be issued on your application. So wait and inform your school and potentially defer, right after the Christmas holidays. Nasrin Ibrahimi says hello back. Hey folks, I'm answering these questions and nobody's pressing the like button, so press so I know you're there. John Legues has message removed. Bedros, and another question: if I have a passport which has less than 6 months validity, can I apply with it for a study permit? They might ask you for a new passport, because if your studies are for like X amount of time, like a year or two, you need a new passport. So don't apply with one that's valid for 6 months or less. John Legues says, no, you can't need to extend your visa first. Okay, John Legues, what was the question? I applied for a study permit, I got rejected, but I use the same BSM before you do you think it will work? So it says, no, you can't. You need to extend your visa first. Yeah, I'm not sure who you're answering or what's happening, John. A little bit confused. Is that a question or a statement? Amira Shahata says, sir, how is the working permit moving nowadays? If I have my application with Lamia since April and LMIA maybe, no? Status shows now that background check is done. Any idea how long it will take? Outlined here in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi takes a long time. I would say 4 months, but Abu Dhabi could take longer, and it depends when you applied. If you applied early 2021, it could take longer because they're not even looking at those files sometimes, or it's like backlogged. If you applied recently, it could take anywhere from minimum 4 months, if it's not the global talent stream or the global skills strategy stream. John Smilga says, hi Reza, hi John. Press the like button if you're there, John, so I know. It's our way of communicating with our viewers. If someone overstayed a visa in the US and then wants to immigrate to Canada, does the person have any chance? There's a chance, but you need to rectify and you need to be upfront about it, right? But it's depends, if you're being sponsored by a family member in Canada, yeah, it's possible, but you need to rectify and declare everything, because basically the US immigration side shares all information with Canada and vice versa. Anil Reddy Chef says, hi Reza, hi back Anil, press the like button if you're there. How are you doing today? Good. still alive, going into the Christmas season, going into this winter now here in Canada. So wish us luck, folks, and hope to see everyone here in Canada soon. Well, winter is going to be a bit tough, at least on the East Coast, not on the West Coast in Vancouver, but generally speaking, all is good. Anil Reddy Chef, thank you. John Smilga says, if someone cannot provide a police certificate from a country, what can that person do? The person studied in a specific country 10 years ago, which no longer has a record of the person's state. It's a tough one. You have to explain why, and you have to prove, John, that you've attempted everything possible. So correspondences with the embassy, with the school, with the police officer, everything, the foreign ministry, and why you couldn't get it. If you've exhausted all the options and it shows that you've really done 110% and still not possible, it can be accepted, discretionary. But if you just say I can't, that's not acceptable. Anil Reddy Chef asking, Reza, I applied for a spousal open work permit visa in September, biometrics in October, my medical updated in December 6th. I applied from Qatar, any hope? Calculate 4 months, so October, November, December, January. I would say sometime, if you're really lucky, you'll get it in the next four weeks. Otherwise, a little bit up and down, plus minus, especially with GCC embassies. They're a bit slow or understaffed, or I don't know what. Maybe they're just not eager to process a lot of visas. John Leguez says, my explanation letter was 5 pages. Do you think they will read it? No, John, I don't think they'll read a 5-page explanation letter. Imagine all these people waiting for process. If everybody submitted a 5-page explanation letter, do you think they would have time to process everyone? No. So Amira Shahata says, thank you, Sir Reza, for answering my question. Stay safe. Always watching your videos. Merci. Thank you, Amira. Appreciate the positive feedback, the boost. John Smilga says, in your personal opinion, when can we expect a federal skilled worker draw and express entry? Everybody asked that, and a few months ago in my videos, I mentioned it's not going to happen this year, and there was a few viewers that are like, no, on that website it says it's going to do this, or this channel, or this website. Well, folks, you can go back to my old videos. I've never mentioned that it could happen. I said maybe in the summer, I said potentially end of the year in December, but as we got closer, I always said there's no chance anymore, right? So even from 2 months ago, expect something in 2022. When in 2022? I don't think it'll be January. I think it'll be in the first 3-4 months of January. It's an estimate. It's a guess. Anybody could guess, right? But that's my personal opinion. It doesn't mean it's a fact. Anil Reddy says, I'm a big fan of you. You're a very honest person. Thank you, Anil. Appreciate it. So if you don't have any more questions, folks, we're gonna sign off and return back with my colleague Laura at 5 p.m. North America Eastern Time. And again, everyone, every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. No matter if it's New Year, no matter if it's Christmas, no matter if it's Hanukkah, no matter if it's, I don't know, like New Year in your country or anywhere, we will be online, okay? So one last question from John Leguez, but it depends on the embassy, right? Not every embassy are busy. My application is being reviewed in Poland and not too many people there. John Leguez, just so you know, Poland is one of the most difficult embassies, Canadian embassies out there to process. Not time-wise, potential and refusals. It's one of the most difficult. It's even more difficult than Abu Dhabi and UAE. So, you could be approved. I don't know your case, right? All I'm saying is that Poland is known in the immigration world to be one of the most difficult. John Smilga says, one more thing, Laura should speak slowly. Well, I don't know. Maybe my colleagues are watching or Laura's watching. I think generally some parts of Latin America, they speak faster, right? So if you speak Spanish, if you can understand Spanish, then you'll be comfortable with the way she speaks, right? And and she's good at what she does. But yeah, I'll pass on the message. But again, we sometimes have limited time. She's got to convert or translate everything I said really quickly before we move on. So I think that's also another reason why she does that. But maybe join her live and tell her directly. But yeah, thank you everyone. We'll be back today, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about various immigration programs, non-business related. And then we'll be back again next Tuesday. If you're watching this video pre-recorded, you're like, what is he talking about? We've got our comments in the live section. And the first 10 minutes of our videos, we talk about the subject matter of the title. But then afterwards, our viewers just ask various questions that we try to answer. If you've got a business immigration related question, reach out to us on our website if you need help. If you just have a general question about your own processing of your application with the IRCC, post a comment on our YouTube or social media and we will answer it to you. Okay? Amira Shahata says Laura is pretty. Yes, thank you, Amira. Why don't you join today and tell her directly? I think she'll appreciate all the good feedback everyone's saying. John Smilka said, I watch your videos with Laura at 0.75 speed. That's good, John. I know a lot of people, even my family, say I speak very quickly, I move very quickly. Well, we have limited time, so what can I say? Yeah, but at least you can watch it at 0.75 speed, right? So that's good. Yeah, at least that option is available on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, we cannot see your comments now. We'll answer those comments afterwards. Okay? Thanks, everyone. We will shut off now, and we'll see you later on today at 5 p.m.